नमस्कार दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है आपके अपने YouTube चैनल विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी में। मेरा नाम है विजेंद्र वर्मा एंड आई एम द डायरेक्टर फाउंडर ऑफ द विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी। We provide coaching for the judicial services exams, and through this video we are trying to reach out to you to provide you full professional exam oriented coaching for the judicial services, and that is free of cost. इन क्लासेस में जो वीडियोस हम आपको प्रोवाइड करेंगे, वी आर गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड यू द एंटायर फाउंडेशन कोर्स इंक्लूडिंग ऑल द बुक्स, इंक्लूडिंग all the details whether it is required for the prelims or mains or for the guidance for the interview. मीन्स इन वीडियोस को आपने सिर्फ इतना करना है, सीक्वेंस में देखना है, प्लेलिस्ट को अच्छी तरीके से देखना है। सब्जेक्ट वाइज मिल जाएंगे आपको, सीपीसी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, बीएनएस, बीएनएसएस, इन सब की प्लेलिस्ट आपको सीक्वेंस में मिलेगी। इन प्लेलिस्ट को देख करके आपने यू हैव टू टेक द कोचिंग फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच। फर्स्ट वीडियो से लेके लास्ट वीडियो तक आपने करना है। उन्हीं वीडियोस में आपको गाइड किया गया है कि किस तरीके से आप किसी को कोई सा पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन, सेक्शन, सब सेक्शन उसको प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़ना है क्या, मेंस के लिए पढ़ना है क्या, और उसके किस तरीके से नोट्स करने चाहिए, कैसे आपको रिवीजन करना चाहिए। इन्हीं वीडियोस में डिटेल में गाइडेंस आपको मिलेगी। तो प्लीज आपसे ये रिक्वेस्ट है, आप ये ना समझें कि यूट्यूब में फ्री में दिया गया है तो फिर ऐसे ही होगा। ये वो प्रोफेशनल कोर्स है जिसके लिए हम लोग अच्छी खासी हाई फीस लेते आए हैं स्टूडेंट से, लेकिन एक टाइम आता है इंसान को समाज के लिए भी करना चाहिए, और उसी इंटेंशन के साथ में वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग यू द एंटायर कोर्स फ्री थ्रू द यूट्यूब चैनल विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी। तो प्लीज हर वीडियो की जो थंबनेल है उसको देख करके आपको आइडिया लग जाएगा कि इसका सब्जेक्ट क्या होने वाला है। कुछ टॉपिक्स ऐसे होते हैं जिनको एक लेक्चर में कवर नहीं किया सकता, तो उसमें लेक्चर नंबर 1, 2, 3 सीक्वेंस से मिलेगा। प्लीज उस तरीके से देख लीजिएगा, और नोट्स आपको अपडेटेड मिलेंगे, उसके लिए कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। नोट्स का जो लिंक मिलेगा आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा आपको। एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच, विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। सो लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस लेक्चर ऑन सेक्शन 10। वी कम टू द एक्सप्लेनेशन and it is very important for your prelims exams. Please see this: the pendency of a suit in a foreign court. The question is this for you, whether a suit is, if a suit is pending in the foreign court, है ना, then whether section 10 will be applicable in this case or not. Answer is no. Read the correct language. The pendency of a suit in a foreign court does not preclude the courts in India from trying a suit founded on the same cause of action. For example, पति पत्नी, नायक एंड नायिका, they went to USA. They are Indians. They went to USA and they live happily there. But suddenly disputes arise between them, and one of them file a divorce suit within the USA on the basis of cruelty. The wife comes back to the India and then she files a same suit here. So this one suit is pending in a foreign court, and the same suit on the same cause of action is pending in the Indian court. Then the husband says, because it is convenient to him that to fight the suit in the USA, then he says that this suit, subsequent suit, that in the India it should be straight for the application of section 10. But wife says, please completely read this. If you want to read section 10, read its explanation also. And explanation says what? The pendency of a suit in a foreign court, your suit is pending in USA, and that is a foreign court, है ना, that does not preclude the courts in India from trying a suit founded on the same cause of action. This is very simple, कर लेंगे आप लोग। And now see this, you can see, just for better understanding, what, there is no bar on the power of the Indian courts to try a subsequently suit if the previously instituted suit is pending in a foreign court. Indian courts will not be barred by that. Indian courts can proceed with the trial despite the fact that the suit is pending in the foreign court. Please raise hand अगर पास समझ आ गई है तो। This is very simple thing. This is, तो previously suit कहाँ पर है? Previously suit is where it is pending in a foreign court. This is previously suit is pending in the foreign court, then this pendency in the foreign court does not debar the Indian courts. Indian courts are not barred from this. They can try with the subsequent suit. I think it is very very clear to you now. Now see the questions, how the questions can come from this. Section 10 of CPC does not apply when the previous suit is pending in the same court in foreign court. Answer is B, in the foreign court.
UPPCS Day 2016. So similar kind of questions can be seen on the same lines, same law. Whether the pendency of a suit in a foreign court will preclude the courts in India from trying a suit founded on the same cause of action. Answer is no. The pendency of suit in foreign court, the courts in India from trying a suit founded on the same cause of action does not preclude. So these are the questions, types of questions which can be asked from the explanation. The only law point is this: if the previously institute is pending in a foreign court, then subsequent suit cannot be stayed on the basis of that. Got it? Next. Come to next point. Next question comes from the point, see this. If a decree is passed in contravention of section 10, what is the requirement of section 10? Section 10 says that the trial shall be stayed. Suppose decree was passed, it means suit was not stayed and decree was passed. You can say decree is passed in the contravention of section 10. समझे नहीं समझे आप लोग ये? तो what will be the effect? Whether that decree would be void, invalid or what? The answer is it is not a nullity. Okay, and therefore cannot be disregarded in execution proceedings. That decree is also valid decree and it can be executed as well. So this is a procedural requirement actually. This is section 10 is basically procedural requirement that to avoid different multiple litigations, to avoid multiple litigations. So that is not if the decree is passed. Suppose previously instituted suit is also there, then a suit is subsequently filed, parties are same, everything is same. अगर प्लीड किया जाता तो दिस सब्सिक्वेंट सूट कुड हैव बीन स्टेड, स्टे हो सकता था. अगर ये प्ली लिया जाता तो सेक्शन 10 अप्लाई हो सकता था और जो सब्सिक्वेंटली जो सूट इंस्टीट्यूट हुआ है, सूट नंबर 2 है, उस पर स्टे हो सकता था, लेकिन नहीं हुआ और डिक्री पास कर दी गई. तो क्या फ़र्क पड़ा? पार्टीज आर कंटेस्टिंग, पार्टीज आर गिविंग देयर एविडेंस अपीयरिंग फॉर देम. तो इन रियलिटी, इन इसेंस उनका कोई सब्सटेंटिव राइट पर प्रेजुडिस नहीं हुआ है. No prejudice has been caused to either of the party despite the fact that decree has been passed in contravention of section 10. Therefore, it is not a nullity. Suppose it would have been the case of section 11. Their suit has been decided. There was a complete bar. You are going against the substantive right of the other party. A right has been accrued in someone's favor. So section 10, decree passed in contravention of section 10 is not a nullity. This is a favorite line for the examiner. I am telling you in advance. Please write FIFO prelims over this. इसी पे क्वेश्चन आएगा. ऑप्शन नलिटी, नॉट ए नलिटी, दिस टाइप करके. प्लीज रेज हैंड अगर बात समझ में आ गई है तो. गुड. It lays down a rule of procedure, pure and simple, which can be waived by the party also. It is not necessary that it should be stayed in every condition. If the waive, see, while discussing the chapter on jurisdiction, what I said, it is not, parties cannot consent to grant or take away the jurisdiction of a court. याद आप लोगों ने ये पढ़ा था? अगर नहीं पढ़ा तो भूल रहे होंगे. फिर ये jurisdiction के लेवल पर कंसेंट नहीं दे सकते. Parties cannot create or take away the jurisdiction of any court. But here parties can waive also, because this is a procedural requirement only. So again, this is a line for your prelims. Again, very important line. Don't forget it. So if the parties waive their right and expressly ask the court to proceed with the subsequent suit, they cannot afterwards challenge the validity of subsequent proceedings. If the parties has waived, okay, you continue, sir. Later on they says no, this was a procedural irregularity. How can the court pass a decree in subsequent suit like this? This court should not have proceeded with the trial. They cannot do, because they have themselves waived their right for this. Again, every slide is a source of question for you. Which of the following statements are correct? Write down a question, please. Which of the following statements are correct? Number 1. Fast, please. Which of the following statements are correct? Number 1. A decree passed in contravention of section 10 is not a nullity. Option statement number 2. A decree passed in contravention of section 10 is a nullity. C. A decree passed in contravention of section 10 cannot be disregarded in execution proceedings. A decree passed in contravention of section 10 can be disregarded in execution proceedings if the parties waive their right in respect of section 10. They cannot afterwards challenge the validity of subsequent proceedings. Next, they can challenge. I hope you got the idea. From these statements, they can change a few words. Cannot, they can. It will be nullity, it will not be nullity. It can be disregarded in execution, it cannot be disregarded. So you can be very confused in that exam. So please, I have make you understood everything this. अब it's your job to remember it. Please raise hand अगर बात समझ में आ गई आपको. You got the idea how the question can be framed in this? They can be frame any such sentence 1, 2, 3 like this. So just to have a little bit to refresh the what we have read so far. We have read it bars the trial and not the institution. You got it? Section 10 bars the trial and not the institution. ये हम पढ़ चुके हैं. Interim orders such as grant of injunction, stay, appointment, receiver can be passed. Subsequent suit can be decided purely on legal points. ये पढ़ चुके हैं हम. The order staying proceedings can be made at any stage. अब इस बात पर आ रहे हैं हम लोग. ये ठीक है, ये ध्यान आया. पहले हम पढ़ चुके हैं, डिस्कशन हो चुका है इन क्लास में भी. Now come to the next point. Again, the order staying proceedings in subsequent suit can be made at any stage. So please, this word is very important, at any stage. See this, how the questions can be framed in this. This is section 10 CPC can come into operation before filing written statement, before settlement of issues, after settlement of issues. Supposedly, अगर आप if you have not read this, अगर आप लोगों ने नहीं पढ़ा है इसको, तो this question can be complicated question for you. But if you remember the word at any stage, if you remember this word only, the order staying proceedings in subsequent suit can be made at any stage, then you will mark the answer is what? All of these. It means before filing written statement, after, it hardly matters, before settlement of issues, after settlement of issues. This doesn't matter. Section order under section 10 can be made at any stage of this. So please remember this. So see this question. The order staying the proceedings in the subsequent suit can be made at any stage. Now we have read the section 10. This is the concluding part. So we have seen that if certain conditions, 5 conditions mentioned in section 10 are satisfied, then what would be the result? Then no court shall proceed with the trial of the suit. What is the object for this? Purpose क्या है? इसको आप समझ लेंगे ढंग से तो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आपके सॉल्व हो जाएंगे. Why this section 10 was brought into the CPC? The object was to prevent the courts of concurrent jurisdiction. Concurrent jurisdiction means courts having same jurisdiction. from simultaneously entertaining and adjudicating upon two parallel litigations. They want to, the object is what, that two different courts which are having similar kind of jurisdiction, they should not entertain such disputes. These are two parallel litigations. समझते हैं what do you mean by two parallel litigations? It means previously instituted suit and then the subsequently instituted suit. These are two suits. It means two parallel litigations. तो purpose is avoid to such kind of propositions. समझ नहीं समझ रहे आप ये? It means you can say like this कि policy of law is to confine a plaintiff to one litigation. If you are a plaintiff, there must be one litigation only. Why? Because otherwise there will be possibility of two contradictory verdicts. Court civil judge Madam Sonia may give different verdict on the same facts and same evidence, and Madam Sakshi may grant different kind of relief. तो there may be two contradictory orders भी हो सकते हैं. To avoid such kind of policy, such kind of possibilities, this is the possibility of policy of law that subsequently instituted suit shall be stayed. This is, and you can say कि because if you encourage it, there will be inconvenience to the parties. Therefore, you can say it also aims to avert inconvenience to the parties and gives effect to the rules of res judicata. If there is a same dispute, same parties litigating under the same title, why to bring the multiple cases before the court? है ना? There will be inconvenience to the parties, wastage of the time of the court as well, resources wastage, everything is there. So this is what question for you, and the object underlying CPC, this to prevent the courts of concurrent jurisdiction, this is under section 10. So this is all about, you can say, to avoid multiplicity of the suits, multiplicity of the proceedings. Section 10 is enacted. So this is all about section 10. Very very important for your prelims, very very important for your mains. Each and every line given in your notes is important for your prelims. You cannot take risk of leaving even a single line, and I have tried my best to explain each and every expression. बच्चों की तरह समझाया आप लोगों को छोटी छोटी बातों को, और आप, मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि कम से कम हफ्ते 10 दिन तक रिवीजन नहीं करेंगे इसका, जब तक एग्ज़ाम नहीं आएगा, है कि नहीं? क्योंकि हफ्ता 10 दिन तक ऐसा लगता है कि सर ने पढ़ाया ऐसा है कि दिमाग में फ्रेश है, रिवीजन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, लेकिन वो कब उड़ जाएगा आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. तो प्लीज़ ओब्लाइज मी, है ना, तो आपके रिजल्ट पर मेरी रेपुटेशन बेस्ड करती है, ठीक है? तो थोड़ा, लेकिन सही बताऊँ, आई एम सरप्राइज्ड कि जो हमारे ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स हैं, दे आर डूइंग मच बेटर. उनकी क्वेरीज़ का लेवल दूसरा आता है, उनकी जो क्वेस्ट है पढ़ने की वो ज़बरदस्त है. शायद इसलिए कि उन लोगों को अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ कम मिली है. कुछ मैरिड गर्ल्स हैं तो जिनको पता है कि भाई अब डू और डाई करना है, वो समझ गए कि अब नहीं तो कभी नहीं, तो वो शायद बहुत ज़्यादा पढ़ते हैं उस तरीके से. वो फटा, उनकी स्पीड पढ़ने की, उनके स्पीड रिवीजन की एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी है मैक्सिमम लोगों की. तो आई एक्सपेक्ट कि आप लोगों की भी, कुछ लोगों की बहुत अच्छी है और कुछ लोगों को लगता है कि करना चाहिए आपको, ठीक है? तो विद दिस वर्ड्स आई एंड दिस सेक्शन 10. ठीक है सर, थैंक यू.
आपको अक्सर ऐसा लगता होगा लोग फेल क्यों होते हैं इतना, फिर तो देखिए वो जो फेल होते हैं उनसे जाके पूछो कि पढ़ने का तरीका क्या है. अगर आपने पढ़ने का वो तरीका अडॉप्ट किया जो इन वीडियोस में समझाया गया है, 101% आप ऑफिसर हो गए और मिनिमम टाइम में हो गए आप लोग. बस आपको कहीं और कोचिंग करने की जरूरत नहीं है. बिलीव मी, ना विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी में भी नोट्स आपको एडमिशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. आप इन वीडियो से जज बन सकते हैं, इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. जस्ट कीप लर्निंग. एंड अगर हो सकता हो, बहुत दिक्कत नहीं हो, तो प्लीज लाइक भी कर दीजिए, कमेंट भी कर दीजिए और इन वीडियोस को शेयर भी कर दीजिए. हो सकता है आपके हाथ से किसका भला हो जाए, है कि नहीं है? ओके, बाय बाय एंड सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. थैंक यू.